From NAB in Las Vegas, a discussion with Puget Systems on why Macs and PCs both have their place. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by Kolide. Kolide sends employees important, timely, and relevant security recommendations for their Linux, Mac, and Windows devices, right inside Slack. Meet compliance objectives in a remote-first world without resorting to rigid device management. Try Kolide for 14 days free. Visit kolide.com/MacVoices to sign up today. That's KOLIDE.com/MacVoices. Enter your email when prompted to receive your free Kolide gift bundle after trial activation. Kolide.com/MacVoices. MacVoices is in Las Vegas for NAB. I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we're in the Puget Systems booth talking to Matt. Matt, what's it been, 3 years?
Yeah, I think it's been 3 years since we've been back in NAB.
That's scary. That's scary. Anyway, Puget Systems builds custom boxes, PCs mainly. And so what am I doing here? Matt, what am I doing here?
We're going to talk about how PCs work, I guess.
Well, I've been actually, believe it or not, I've been thinking about you through the pandemic, and with all the changes that came to Apple technology and the M1, and I know originally we said, one of your jobs is to get your customers the best box, yes, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see what the M1 and now the M1 Plus, Pro, all of the many configurations have done to how you approach what recommendations you give.
Yeah, well, so I think what we do and what we recommend to our customers hasn't changed all that much. Because, for us, the technology hasn't changed a lot. That's all Apple stuff. I think what it has done, though, is it's kind of lit a fire under a lot of the people we work with, Intel and AMD, because the M1 is an amazing product. It is groundbreaking in what it does and how efficient it is. And it's kind of just taking people off of just being able to coast on the PC side, which I think is great. Competition is amazing, whether it's within PC, whether it's just within computing in general, so Apple and PC, no matter what, software even side, competition is good. Competition is always great for the end users.
So, and you're right. I know that I think you were talking about 3 years ago, certain situations where you would recommend a Mac. Mm-hmm. But, now things have changed a little bit on that side. But the PC side is still doing what it's doing, and that's not to say it's slacking. It's just it hasn't had that quantum leap. It feels like that the Mac side has.
No, PC definitely, a lot of the stuff is a lot more established, so it's a lot more incremental changes over time. There are still some things like heavy rendering with NVIDIA GPUs. You're not going to get that on an Apple side. It's not what they do. It's not what it's made for. So I think it's a lot of just that. It's still what is the right tool for the right job. Apple with the M1, they've expanded kind of where their stuff is even better, especially mobile. Honestly, the M1, the MacBooks and stuff, absolutely terrific. It's still, though, at a point where a lot of people will switch over to PC once they get up to a certain level of needing a certain amount of horsepower. Once you get up to something where you need triple A6000 video cards, that's not really just something you're going to get out of an Apple. You can do the Mac Pro, but man, those things are very expensive.
Yeah, very. Yeah. Well, and you're right. The PC boxes, you guys can build and put as many graphics cards, or, if you were talking about cryptocurrency mining, you can put all kind of GPUs in if you needed to. So it's not, or forgive me, it's not quite apples and oranges, sorry, but it just is, you're right, building the right tool for the right job.
And one of the things that's kind of difficult with PC also is, Apple, there's not a lot of choice. You basically have good, better, best kind of options. And so it's hard to make a bad decision where you've invested money into something that's not going to have a payoff. PC, it's so wide open. It's so kind of wild, wild west always. You have so many options, and that can be overwhelming, and it can be very, very easy to end up with something that you've spent more money that's worse than something that would have been less expensive. And that's really where we come in as a company is, let's take all of those options on PC. That's kind of the hurdle with using PC, and bring it down, in a lot of ways, to kind of an Apple-esque kind of situation where it's, here's the right options for you, not every option, but the right options for you.
Yeah, I remember that about our original discussion. It's okay, You don't just try to sell me a pre-configured box. You come and ask me, what do I need?
Yes.
And do I have any hardware preferences? I distinctly remember that, which kind of surprised me because that's always been sort of one of the weaknesses of the PC side is I buy a box from, I won't call any names, but manufacturer X, the hard drive, excuse me, the optical drive could come from one company today, another company tomorrow, and that just plays havoc with compatibility and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and a lot of our role as our company is to get through that havoc, ourselves. And we do swap out parts sometimes, but we have a whole team that does qualification to make sure that, like, okay, this CPU or this GPU, maybe we'll switch brands, but let's make sure it's going to work in Premiere first, because whether it's EVGA or MSI or any of those guys, that's not their primary focus. A lot of times it's gaming. And so we make sure that it works. And man, we catch a lot of problems. Again, it comes down to that, PC's Wild Wild West. We've got to bring it down to where it's only the right options. Yeah.
So, okay, we're 3 years later. How has the lockdown changed your business? Has it changed it at all? Or do you see people buying different kind of systems? And I'm specifically thinking about the whole work from home thing.
For us, I don't think it's changed a lot of like the hardware that we're doing. I don't think we're doing a lot different there, because whether you're at home or you're in an office, the people who are coming to us are coming to us for high-end workstations, and that stuff's all kind of the same no matter where you are. The big thing that's kind of affected us over the last few years is actually it's kind of the business side, actually, the behind the scenes. There's been a lot of part shortages, a lot of you can't get your hands on parts. So us as a business, we've done a lot of work investing in like our supply lines, and that's not all that exciting, but the best product is one that you can actually have. And so all of that work that we've invested in to make sure we have ready supply, we don't have delays to our customers, honestly, that's the biggest thing that we've grown as a business.
3 years ago, supply line was not exciting. Now it's very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
I can only imagine with everything that you try to source, because you're building those custom boxes, that your spreadsheet has to be a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, we try to limit our product line as much as we can. And, we can only do that to a certain amount, because we have to have backup products. We have to have different brands and manufacturers we can use if there is a shortage of one or another. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money that gets tied up in inventory. Also, especially in like the peak of the shortage, we had to. We didn't really want to advertise too much how much supply we had, because you get a lot of people who are like, oh, well, why do you have all those parts? You're hoarding them, and it's not really hoarding, because like those will all be out of the door within a week. And if anything, it's good because we get in video cards, and they're going to people who are going to actually be using them. We're not selling them as parts to scalpers. We're selling them to video editors and motion graphics artists and VFX artists who are actually going to use them as they should be used.
I said something about cryptocurrency earlier. Are you seeing that as a trend for something like what you do? Do you have crypto miners coming to you and saying, hey, I want a big bad box?
We have a few. That's not really one of our core areas of focus. So usually those kind of people go somewhere else, but we're a lot more in the content creation space, scientific, engineering, and we try to stay mostly within those, because that's really where we add value to our customers. Like, the parts that we use are all off the shelf, and honestly, we we publish a lot of the testing we do. We're very transparent in what is the right hardware for DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro. So you could build your own box. So a lot of the value add for us is actually the support we're able to give. Premiere Pro is crashing, as it does. What is the reason behind it? And helping our customers figure that out. Is it hardware? Is it software? Is it their workflow? And so that's really where we add the most value. In something like crypto mining, where it's not our focus, there's not as much value add. So we try to avoid where we can't add value.
That's interesting, and it makes perfect sense now, but I would not have thought about it exactly that way. Because I would think if I'm coming to you, I'm going to ask you to build a special box for whatever it is I'm doing. But yeah, I'm going to be looking to you for support then of that box.
Yes.
And the crypto people probably don't want or need that. They just want to grind away at things.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and also, we can kind of steer that ship a little bit. So who are we advertising to is the people that we feel we can add the value again. And since we don't advertise to crypto miners, we really don't get too much interest. Because honestly, at the end of the day, if we get a customer coming to us and we feel that we're not going to be able to provide the right level of service that we hold ourselves to, we will say no to people and say, no, we're probably not the right solution for you, and we'll try to guide them to someone who does it better. And we do that all the time. People who might be looking for a specific Linux solution for something, we try to say maybe these other people are the right choice for you. Because we don't want to waste our time, we don't want to waste our customers' time. We want to make sure that no matter what, they are getting the best experience they can, and that we're having the best experience we can. Because we're also worried about our support department. We don't want to make them have to provide support for something that they're not familiar with.
Yeah, that too is a fair point. So you are more of a specialist maybe than the first time we talked that I understood.
Yes.
You really do focus on a few specific industries and optimizing your service and the hardware for that.
Yeah, we've. I don't know if it's actually we've specialized more, but I think maybe we've been more clear. We've clarified our mission of what it is we want to specialize in. And I also think over the last 3 years, we've also grown a lot of our B2B business. So I think right now we're somewhere around half and half of end users, freelancers, people who are just buying single systems. And the other half is we call them managed accounts, people who come back over and over and over, game studios, production houses. We just announced we're doing a partnership with View Studios, so virtual production stuff. So we're powering their new Las Vegas location, and so that kind of stuff. Those kind of larger accounts. So we want to keep a healthy mix of those two, and we're getting close to right where that healthy line is for us.
You're going to get a reputation if you start having installations like that.
Oh yeah.
So that's a nice problem to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're excited about that one.
So if folks want to avail themselves of your services, where do we send them?
Just PugetSystems.com, just PUGET Systems.com. We've got great resources on there, great contacts. All of our consultants aren't commissioned or anything like that. So if you are looking for a PC, because again, it's the right tool for the right job, and sometimes it's Mac, sometimes it's PC, our consultants aren't on commission or anything like that. So they'll help you out as much as they absolutely can.
Great. Yeah, it's good to see you. Thanks so much. Great to see you again.
Yeah.
So, folks, I'm not in the market for a PC anytime soon, but if I am, I'm going to come to them first. No question about it. We are in Las Vegas for NAB. I'm Chuck Joyner. We'll be back with more. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.